Get ready. I'm ready. Are you ready? Because I'm ready. Spicy Bites. Spicy Bites! A show everyone likes. They like it. Listen once or twice. One more, we don't care. Or you'll pay the price. Pay it. Spicy Bites.
Hello, and welcome to Spicy Bites, live from the Wasabi NESN Studio at Fenway Park. I am Sean Greenhall from Wasabi. With me, as always, is Andrew Smith. Andrew, how's it going?
Good. Doing great, Sean. Happy to be here. Happy it's Spicy Bites number 8.
Yeah. What a
setting.
look at us. You know, we started from the bottom. We're approaching the middle now.
Yeah.
We're approaching mid, as the kids say.
Yep.
And this is an exciting step for us.
Huge.
If the studio wasn't cool enough, as many of you at home and regular watchers will notice, I am now also wearing the helicopter pilot headphones, and boy, does that feel cool.
Yeah. That's how you know.
Yeah.
You're a rung up.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think when I go into post production on this, I'm gonna add in some helicopter noise. It's just like, we're here live over Fenway Park. The traffic looks good, or something. I don't know. I got to workshop that one.
This is also the first time we have conducted Spicy Bites in person together, regardless of the studio atmosphere. So
look, I have to say this is far less awkward than I thought.
Oh, it's way less awkward. Yeah.
The eye contact after the pandemic isn't as creepy as I thought it would be. I actually feel
we've gotten used to talking to actual people again. Yeah.
If you'll notice, there is a good deal of distance between us,
distance,
which is nice.
Yeah.
I don't need to get any closer to you.
Right. I started putting a little 6-foot tape indicator on the ground in between us.
I think that's a pretty regular thing for co-hosts. Like, on the air is one relationship, and then off the air they like can't stand each other.
I imagine, most of them despise each other off the air, but I honestly don't know.
Yeah, you're not sure?
Yeah.
Is that
not sure?
I thought you were gonna be like, but I feel like we have a good relationship.
No, we have a great relationship. I'm not sure if co-hosts of when you see them on radio or TV or podcast, do they?
Yeah,
probably
do they
hang out?
There's probably a lot of resentment that builds up over years.
Over time.
And that's
just
why...
underhanded comments. That's why
a lot of microaggressions.
We're not at that stage yet. We're still in the honeymoon stage.
Well, that's why, doing Spicy Bites 8, and we've been doing this for 2 years. There's a nice distance between each episode.
Yeah.
And that's been working in our favor.
It has.
As you know, we did have to take some time off this most recently to work on our live action Netflix project, Spicy Bites the movie. And I'm excited to talk about that more as production goes on. And I don't want to jinx it, but I feel like maybe we'll maybe even move on from Wasabi and be just full influencer / actor types.
I think if the movie plays well, we parlay that into a mini series.
Yes,
maybe
a mini series. Yes,
HBO
episodic prestige TV.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice. I would be remiss if I didn't mention the elephant in the room, which is your recent title change.
Oh, thank you.
You're now a director of some BS. I always forget what your title is.
Market strategy,
director,
competitive intelligence. Yeah.
So when we were talking before about how things could come between co-hosts, I think my envy about that title change and my now sort of chip on the shoulder about it is, you're going to see that come out more.
Okay.
So
thank you.
Just be ready for that. The other little piece of housekeeping that I wanted to bring up has to do with a rival show that has popped up on Wasabi channels.
Yeah.
Do you want to set the table for us?
So I will sadly plug this now second competing show that Wasabi has, the Hot Cloud Show.
Correct.
With Drew Schlussel and friends.
Yes, Drew Schlussel, product marketer extraordinaire, influencer, man about town.
Yeah.
You'll see him on Hot Cloud Show with his big cowboy hat. And
Storage infrastructure savant.
yes, and there's a lot of talk about Hot Cloud Show. There's a lot of buzz, and I don't like it. I'm going to be honest. I feel like they're kind of nipping at our heels a little bit.
Yeah.
And it looks like they're going to be broadcasting every 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
I don't like that either.
But you know what? Competition is what allows us to step our game up, right?
Yeah, okay.
Now that we're not the only show in town.
I've heard that, but I'm not much of a competitor.
Okay.
You know?
Fear and anxiety.
That I'm familiar with. That I respond to.
Right. Is driving us to improve our content and production value.
Yeah. Okay. I can deal with that where it's like we got to get our act together a little bit, maybe prepare for the show in some way. And now that we're at Wasabi NESN Studio, we do have to take it a little more seriously. But
that's why we have Aaron today.
That's right. And in all seriousness, good luck, Hot Cloud Show. We're all pulling for you. We would definitely want you to succeed.
I mean, you're producing both shows at the end of the day.
That's true.
So
that's true.
I'm the only one who can sabotage.
That's true.
Hot Cloud Show
because you're going to appear on it and potentially sabotage it from the inside.
Yeah, and just maybe I'll get weird and talk about toilets and bathrooms.
All right. Well, that's a weird thing to say, and I don't know what you mean by it. All right. Well, let's see. Where else do we want to go? Hot Cloud Show. Oh yeah. What are we doing today? What's the show about?
We're gonna do a little bit of current events in the storage world, some news, and then since we haven't been on for a couple months, we'll catch up quick on the top stories, and then we're getting Aaron on.
Yep. Great.
Aaron Edell.
Awesome.
Yeah, and we're gonna talk about Wasabi AiR.
Looking forward to that. He seems like a good guy and capable and good with the talking. So that's really cool.
It's that West Coast vibe
that
he brings to the show, which I think is missing.
It's just kind of a chill bro.
Yeah, we got two uptight East Coasters and this week we'll get a little bit of a
it'll be a yin and yang, as they say.
Absolutely.
Ebb and flow. All right, well, so we're going to try a new segment here on Spicy Bytes. And what are we calling that segment? I wrote it down somewhere. We are calling that segment fake news from the cloud storage industry. So without further ado,
bring us in.
Here is our first little segment. Wow. Okay. Wow. We could end the show right there. That was incredible. Live from the Wasabi NESN Studio. Breaking fake news. Let's see. Where's our first headline? Here we go.
This just in.
Cloud hyperscalers do away with all egress fees.
It's covering me. It's just I'm gone.
It is covering you. I'm going to read the type below. Andrew, don't worry. You'll be back. Okay. In a shocking move that has sent shockwaves to the tech industry, leading cloud hyperscalers have declared the complete elimination of egress fees for all users. This unprecedented decision marks a monumental shift in the landscape of cloud computing and data management. Can I bring you back?
You can lean into the newscaster voice on the next one.
I should do that. Yeah, you're totally right.
Next one.
Okay.
Since we were on air last, there have actually been several announcements along the lines of egress, eliminating egress fees. Google, Azure, AWS all have these new egress subsidy programs. The fake news isn't too far from the truth in some cases. And on the Hot Cloud Show later this week, we're going to be talking about the fee problem in our industry, including egress. So, but unfortunately, we find, if I plug the cloud storage index, we've found 2 years in a row that enterprises spend almost half of their cloud storage bill on fees, egress being one of them. So unfortunately,
that news is fake.
That news is fake.
Or it's a little fake. It's half fake.
It's
misleading, to say the least. Just like our
Well,
real
because-
media landscape, it's unclear what's real.
It is. Egress has not gone away, and although there are these new stories about egress subsidy, is it gone? Is it still here? It's still here.
Okay, got it. All right. Well, this is our next little headline here. Ransomware defeated. No need to defend against it now, says cloud expert.
That was way better than
was
the first
better?
one.
Okay.
The transition was on point, and the voice.
I think they call it like a talk in or something.
I don't know.
I don't know. So let's take another look at that. Ransomware defeated. So yeah, ransomware all gone.
Not even.
We don't have to worry about our data being ransomed.
Mhm.
We don't have to worry about presumably any sort of hacking at all.
Yeah. How nice it would be.
How nice it would be.
Just
Again,
don't even need to encrypt data.
Yeah.
Don't need to back it up.
would that mean that I could forego Okta now, signing
Right.
into my
No
laptop?
need for two-factor or multi-factor authentication.
If only. I spend at least 3 hours a day in a two-factor authentication loop. Pretty much, I'm just like texting myself, putting it in, texting myself, putting it in, and it's not efficient.
Obviously fake.
Right, that's fake.
Yeah.
Ransomware's still here.
Ransomware is still here. Maybe we'll. Why do I keep plugging the Hot Cloud Show? Maybe we'll talk about some of this
I'm as
with Rob,
curious as you are.
because I think Rob's going to be on this week, right?
Yep.
He's on every week. I
Yes.
think is how the Hot Cloud Show works.
Yep.
Yeah. So Rob is our ransomware and data security expert. I'm sure we'll be talking about it more on Friday. Never going away. As long as it's lucrative, as long as data can be held ransom, and there are professional hackers in the world, never going anywhere.
The way I see society playing out, you're going to be born, you're going to have a chip put in your head, and at that point, we're going to know if you're doing ransomware, and you're going to be found. And maybe that's another product line that Wasabi should look into, is like getting some piece of that chip market.
You think so?
I mean, I'm a bit of a futurist.
Isn't Minority Report the movie where that kind of happens?
Sort
they
of.
can tell people are going to do crimes.
Right.
or
Those are
thinking about doing-
drug-addled psychics, but you know, this is. I was thinking a little something. All right. But yeah, ransomware's not going anywhere,
No.
as far as we know. Well, hold on a second. Breaking news: on-prem solution totally secure. No need to back up your data ever. Okay, well that's clearly
What
not
was the
real.
hashtag?
Oh, the hashtag? Hold on. Hashtag on-prem for the win.
I think
That's clearly not true. Even I know that's
clearly not true.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we've been talking about this a lot with some of Wasabi's partners too that do a mix of like hybrid services. So hybrid, multi-cloud are the buzzwords today. I think what we've learned over time is that there's significant benefits to doing both. You're not going to have everything totally secure and totally meeting all of your infrastructure security needs with data on premises. And like you could say the same likewise with cloud. And there's typically, depending on the workload, a mix of deployment on-prem and in the cloud in some sort of hybrid configuration that improves access times, performance, and your security posture, right? It's kind of like there's a middle ground where it's a win-win for all of those aspects of your infrastructure footprint.
Is this security posture like
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
G.I. Joe?
Yeah. Black belt.
What if you have bad security posture and you're like slouched?
You're slouched.
I think that would be
Uh-huh.
mine.
So clearly not true. It goes back to the previous headline on ransomware, right? There will always be malicious actors. There will always be what's the opposite of malicious? non-malicious.
Beneficial,
Well,
benevolent.
right? Their employees will make mistakes and lose data. So there's always going to be a need for backup, not just for those, not just
Gotta
for
watch out for that employee idiocy. Yeah, no,
Yep.
totally. And also, like, what's to stop me from going to a data center with a hacksaw? That's all it takes is me just,
Yep,
get in
and
that
it's over.
door. Boom! I download that stuff to my personal.
After you hacksaw it?
No. That's the lock that I'm hacksawing.
Oh,
yeah.
I
Then
thought
I
you were
go in and I
hacksawing, like-
download
Okay.
the data.
Yep.
I've thought about this a lot. Download it to my personal hard drive, and then
You're off
if
to
this
do
doesn't
whatever
work out,
nefarious
that's what I'll
things
be
you're
doing.
gonna do. Okay.
Get into some ransomware.
All right.
All right. Do we address that?
Yes.
Okay. Do that. Let's see. 4 is breaking news. Organizations underspend on cloud services. CIOs ask for more fees from providers.
Again, cloud storage index this year, over 50% of enterprises overspent on cloud storage services. A large part of that has to do with the fee structures, but the fake news part of that is no CIO wants to overspend.
No.
And have to answer to their finance department or their CEO.
I was going to bump that out to the CFO.
Yeah.
CFO not looking to pay more.
Right.
That's
Right.
why that's a fake news story.
Right. No one ever asked for more fees from their service provider or their technology provider. Clearly not true, but is a part of the sad state of the market that we exist in, is that a lot of times overspending is a result of fees. We've talked about it. Hey, have you ever, I was thinking about this the other day. Remember what was the movie on Al Gore and climate change?
Inconvenient
Truth.
Yes.
I feel like Al Gore talking about the fees over and over again, the fees in our industry, like, hey, this is happening. Hey, this is happening. The fees exist. It's bad. And
you also invented the internet.
And I also invented the internet.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's going to take saying that 1,000 more times before the market starts to react. Because it's we're talking about billions and billions of dollars in the cloud infrastructure space. So that's a big ship to move. So we just got to keep spreading the word.
With a platform like Spicy Bytes, this is going to take days.
Yeah.
We could see at the end of next week some like huge shift based on the kind of influence that we have in our own market of LinkedIn B2B cloud storage IT decision makers. All right. I'm not even going to play the clip on this one. I'm just going to go straight to the headline. Breaking study: AI tools automate everything, replace humans, and never make a mistake. AI is foolproof, and we definitely don't need humans around anymore. Read more.
A+ voice. Yeah. It's a good lead in to what we're going to talk about with Aaron today. I think the AI as a technology hit an inflection point last year during 2023, captured the imagination of many organizations about what value it can add, what tasks it can automate. But I think clearly we've still got, we're at the peak of the hype cycle. And after the hype cycle comes the trough of disillusionment and despair. So it's nothing about the technology is perfect, right? It can't just do everything. I'm going to ask Aaron about his blog on responsible use, right? There still needs to be a human touch to so many aspects of AI technology.
Yeah, like high fives, fist bumps, hugs,
literal. Yeah, exactly. So
you're never going to have a robot that does that effectively.
No, never.
Incidentally, what is that for? Can you say that phrase again? The trough of
disillusionment.
So I've heard
despair. I add despair.
I've heard you use this phrase before, and it reminds me of my 30s. It's just not a great decade. And, I think that you should trademark that because it's an incredible.
Well, I think I'm copying it. So the analyst firms use this. That's where I got it. That's where it comes from. So like Gartner does a hype cycle, and it's literally, I think it's called the trough of disillusionment.
Wow, that's incredible.
I just add on the despair part.
I feel like that was like an A24 movie.
Yeah, and then I think after that is like the something of enlightenment. So that's, you go from the height of inflated expectations, then nothing works and everything breaks, and then you figure out how to fix certain things, optimize the processes, and then you're kind of off to, that's when you have the enlightenment, right? Oh, we can make this work. We just need to fix A, B, and C, change A, B, and C, and then it becomes more of like a actual implementation from an IT operations standpoint. So that's, not total BS.
So another analog here, Taylor Swift Eras Tour. Appearance at the Super Bowl was kind of the trough of like, okay, you're overexposed.
Okay.
And then she releases the new one, Tortured Poets Department, and that's her kind of seizing the spotlight in a way. That's maybe that's,
I know nothing about
too far.
Yeah, I need help.
You should have you ever heard of pop culture? You should check it out.
I have, but just not so much on the Taylor Swift current events.
Well, she's America's greatest pop star, so like, get on it.
All right.
Breaking news: CIO is not concerned with sustainability goals. Burn unused hard drives in parking lot dumpster.
Sustainability, hot topic. Interestingly enough, we in the Cloud Storage Index, we ask about vendor selection criteria, and sustainability has been in the top 3 ranked considerations that buyers think about. It moved up slightly this year, but when we look at like C-level respondents, just taking that subset of the response base, sustainability is even higher on that list. It usually ranks like number 1 or number 2. So we've seen the exact opposite of the fake headline, which is C-level decision makers, IT decision makers, care more about sustainability than last year, than probably ever before.
It's interesting that you're talking about sustainability, and there's a double entendre there with C-level and C-level. Like the C-level rising, and there's also the C-suite.
Yeah, I
like how you did that.
I didn't even
genius.
That has not been done yet. I think we need to.
There's also another, callback to the inconvenient truth thing around the sustainability.
Yeah, true.
Synergy,
right?
Synergistics.
Folks. A lot we can do there.
Yep. So sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
No, but the cool thing about cloud services that enterprises are still learning when it comes to sustainability is they're basically offloading their carbon emissions. Like not offloading them, but the carbon emissions go from like a scope 1 or a scope 2 to a scope 3, meaning they just need to be concerned about getting accurate measurements of carbon emissions from their service provider and building those into whatever ESG or sustainability reports they might do. But they don't, from a scope 3 sense, they don't need to be worried about
scope 3.
They don't need to be worried about ensuring that the racks of hardware they're using are powered efficiently. They don't need to worry about recycling hard drives and other recycling used electronics to be able to meet their sustainability needs. The cloud service provider is basically, they're taking on those tasks. So it's kind of a
sustainability as a service.
Yeah, but that's part of it, right? That's sustainability.
Did I just coin that term?
Yeah, you're doing a lot. I can't even.
Can't keep up.
Yeah, can't keep up today. But again, CIOs, especially C-level, not just CIOs, care about sustainability from their cloud service provider. Wasabi does a lot to measure that and provide accurate measurements, accurate metrics to our users, and we're working a lot on building that, improving that process this year. So a lot of cool stuff.
Right on. Excellent. Well, we only have one last piece of fake news. Thanks for
We have more.
Yeah. Are you fake? Are you all fake newsed out? All right, let's just the last one here. New study find IT buyers crave more complex pricing. It more interesting to buy when offering complicated, say IT consumers. Wow. So that can't be true, because
Can't be.
if there's anything that I dislike, it's complexity in what I'm buying.
Mhm. Yeah. It turns out that complex billing, like the level, we've always said your billing can be extremely complex from a hyperscaler, but I feel like we understated the level of complexity. I think we've learned from talking to some of our customers, Wasabi's customers, who have switched, that like you can't even. We talk about these things like a specific fee, like API calls, right? How much are you spending on API calls? The bill is so complex that they can't even get a number, right? They're getting like pieces of numbers monthly or weekly that they need to stitch together to understand what is a comprehensive picture of API fees. Like the level of complexity in billing is so difficult to understand. Byzantine. It's a Byzantine process for sure. That like they know these things are happening and they know they're bad, but at the same time they're not able to answer the question like, well, how much did we spend? Just because of how complex that billing process is in what's delivered to them. So yeah, no one likes that.
No one likes that. No one likes sticker shock. No one likes having to comb through the thing or trying to explain it to somebody like a CFO, for example. Our CFO, you got to watch out for him. He could turn on you and it could happen at any time. So, that's the kind of thing I want to avoid.
Yeah.
It's upsetting him. Watch out.
Yeah. And when he says, what are we paying? Why is this bill so complex?
If he's saying, why are we paying to have a show on, our LinkedIn channel that, isn't funny. If he, he didn't say that, but like, let's say he did.
Right.
And one of the hosts is off-putting. What are we supposed to do with that?
I don't know. I'm instantly throwing you under the bus. I'm saying it's Sean's. This was all Sean's idea.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And especially now that you're a director, I'm going to be the first one to get, chopped out, I think.
No, this is,
it's on us both. You're complicit now.
Yeah. No, we'll say you must be talking about Hot Cloud Show.
Yeah, we just obfuscate and nobody looks into it.
Yeah.
They're just like, well, someone from that's got to go.
Yeah,
I like that. Okay, well, that was our first fake news segment. Andrew, thanks so much for bearing with me. Seems like we could maybe have a few less headlines next time.
Yeah, we should probably not do that again.
Well, I thought it was successful, but maybe just like 2 or 3 of them as opposed to 7 of them.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, up next we have Aaron Edell, SVP of AI and ML. That's artificial intelligence and machine learning. He's coming up next.
Yeah,
so
let's get him on.
Let's get to it.
Yeah.
All right, Spicy Bytes 8. So right now on the show, we'd like to bring in Aaron Edell, SVP of AI and ML at Wasabi. Aaron, it's nice to see you out there on the West Coast. Thanks for joining Spicy Bytes.
Yeah, my pleasure. My pleasure. I'm assuming that you're using a green screen there and you're not really actually at the park, right?
Believe it or not, we are actually at Fenway Park.
Yep.
The historic Fenway Park. So much history here. So much pride from the city of Boston. And then, ironically, this show is happening here, which is a bit of a weird juxtaposition given our history as one of the lowest rated B2B cloud storage podcasts around.
Probably.
So, we really appreciate you coming on and upping the production value, legitimizing us. But also we do have a long history of launching people's media careers. Yep. So this could be a big deal for you as well.
Yes, or a complete disaster, but we'll find out.
We're about to find out.
Yeah, this is Spicy Bytes number 8.
Yes.
We've stepped up the production value significantly from
Yeah.
Fenway Park. And like you said, yeah, we've been doing guest appearances, Aaron, and we've launched many a career. And so we're happy to have you on today to talk a little bit more about the recently released Wasabi AiR and what you've been doing behind the scenes. I would love to get a quick, the 5-minute background on what led you to Wasabi, and what we ended up announcing. Has it been 2 weeks already? It's been about 2 weeks, right, since the official announcement. Yeah,
It's so hard to keep track
no
of time.
whirlwind. But yeah, if you don't mind, kind of taking us through the story, the journey, for the Spicy Bytes listeners, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it really started with a problem, which was, work that I had done at one of my first jobs. Actually, was at a television station, manually logging tapes, videotapes, right? So I would watch an 5-minute segment, or even probably more like 30 seconds, and then quickly try to write down what happened, and then rewind it because I messed up or forgot, write again. And it just took me hours and hours and hours to log what was probably like a 5-minute news segment or something like that. So when I started Gray Meta, I started at Gray Meta, I was the first employee there back in 2015 or 16 or something like that. The idea was, let's see if we can go through all of this media, all the media files that all of the media and entertainment industry create, all of this digital video content that they're storing and trying to manage. What if we scraped it and pulled as much metadata out as we could and kept it in a sort of searchable database, right? And gave that layer, that metadata layer, to customers and said, here, you can find anything. Pretty cool idea. But right around that time, it was around maybe now 2016 or so, machine learning just burst onto the scene. And one of the hyperscalers had a sort of machine learning as a service. Basically, it was speech to text, and you could post audio wave files, and it would come back with searchable text. And man, as soon as I saw that, I thought, this is it. This is going to make this stuff searchable. This is the kind of metadata that we need. The transcripts weren't very accurate at the time. I mean, you have to keep in mind, this is like brand new technology, but they were accurate enough that search was possible. And then very quickly, all these others started rolling out, all these other machine learning services, face recognition, logo detection, object detection. And we just kept consuming them. And then we kind of hit a wall because it was really expensive. We got our first bill from AWS, and it was like $80,000 or something. And my whole company just shut down for a day to try and figure out what happened. Exactly. In fact, I later learned there's a whole concept called bill shock that is based around this kind of thing. So I left Gray Meta to go start a startup with my two friends and co-founders, David Hernandez and Matt Ryer, to prove that, this wasn't the only way to do this. You didn't have to just consume these very expensive APIs from the hyperscalers to use machine learning to extract metadata. So we built a startup called MachineBox. It grew very quickly. It was very successful. We were acquired less than a year, and which was great. And then I went to AWS after that for about 3.5 years and learned about how they actually bill customers and the kind of complexities there, and trying to help customers cost optimize and understand their bill and their cost and usage data, which is a huge thing. I mean, you're talking billions of lines in some cases per day, right? Billions of lines.
Wow.
So when Gray Meta called me back up and said, "Hey, Aaron, do you want to come back as CEO? Help us finish telling this story." I said, absolutely, right? That I really do want to see this technology, this capability of scraping media files, collating all the metadata, generating the machine learning based tags and AI tags, and then making it searchable and accessible and usable and valuable to people, was a story I wanted to finish telling. And so we set to work on basically building our own machine learning models, replacing all of the expensive hyperscaler APIs, making our code kind of very tight and very optimized. And then when Wasabi came around, you know, I've always loved the idea of pairing and coupling metadata with the objects in storage. I think those two things need to live together. They need to be as close to each other as possible. You can't, like, I love Dave Friend, our founder and CEO, had such a good, he said it so succinctly and so beautifully. He said, you don't go to a library and then go across the street to look at the card catalog in a different building. Right. So why would you kind of have your metadata in one vendor's application, and that vendor can, you know, go away or have problems, or you might want to switch, and your objects in another? It just doesn't make sense.
When I go to the library, what I like to do is,
you go to the library?
Yeah, you know, there are two things. They often have like this beanbag sitting area that I like to go there, and they have these awesome choose your own adventure stories. But also, you know, a lot of people don't know there are public bathrooms there. So if you're caught in a pinch, you're out and about, you know, normally like you'd go McDonald's or Starbucks. Also think about the public library.
Yep. Take advantage of those facilities.
Yeah, that's what they're there for, the public.
Yep, that's why and you wouldn't go across the street, like, right to the bathroom.
Correct.
Like, the library has all of the things you need in it for it to be a useful library.
Right.
To be
so
a great
in a
place
way, with Wasabi AiR, you know, it's almost similar to having a card catalog of different public bathrooms around the city. Kind of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We should look into that as a potential product.
Maybe a module that you add in to the AI.
A plugin.
Yeah. Okay. We'll take a note on that, Aaron. Don't worry.
So I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I did want to get to this metadata piece. If I put video of myself into Wasabi AiR,
it'll crash.
Would it get really specific with the description? So would it say like pompous middle-aged marketer with anger issues, you know, with a picture next to me, or how does that work?
Yeah, I mean, yes. I mean, if it doesn't crash first, yeah, if you put just a picture, or let's say a video, let's say we put this video into Wasabi AiR. It's going to do a speech to text, right? So everything we're saying is going to be transcribed beautifully and near perfect with time codes. So at any moment we could jump back to when you talked about bathrooms, right? Take us a second to find that moment. Now let's say, you know, we get
John
close
says something weird. Jump back.
Ding, ding, ding,
it's
ding,
just
ding, ding.
every single second.
It becomes a drinking game, I think. So then it's also going to process the logos, right? So all those Wasabi logos in the background, I mean, this is a static shot, but they're going to show up in every frame essentially. But if there were other logos, perhaps in the park somewhere, maybe there are, I don't have my glasses on, but it would pick those up. And then it would process, it would start tagging. We call it, there's lots different kind of ways to describe it. Image classification, object recognition. Some of these kind of concepts in the machine learning world are starting to merge. But basically it would say, yes, man, green shirt, you know,
overweight,
beard, headphones, computer, water bottle, table. You know, it would start labeling, like all the cranes in the background. It would try and label all that.
Cool.
So can we talk about, can we step back maybe for the viewers and talk about Wasabi AiR a little bit more at a high level? Because we keep saying AiR, right? And AiR is short for AI recognition. And Aaron has talked about some of the different things that you do with AI, whether it's automated metadata tagging or identification of objects and logos, right? So Aaron, for me, Wasabi AiR, the technology, kind of sits at an intersection. It does a couple different things. It's core for media production and content distribution, but it can also do kind of this cloud native active archiving. It can enable that use case. It can also be used to digitize assets. And I feel like AiR also fits in under this big umbrella of computer vision. So we throw around a lot of terms for AI and AI technologies and what they do. How do you, like, if you had never heard of Wasabi AiR before, what is, I come from the analyst background, and we always used to say we count functional markets. What is the function of a service or a solution? What's the core function of Wasabi AiR that people should take away when they hear the name or they think about the technology?
I think it's about productivity. It's about time. There's so much. I mean, if you think about how much time you waste in your life searching for stuff, especially at work on your computer, SharePoint and Dropbox and all of these places where stuff gets stored, it's very quickly, you kind of lose track of it. And, I think if you kind of think of it that way, for a sort of different subset of people, these are in particular people in the media entertainment industry who own, vast libraries and archives of video content. And at the end of the day, you're paying to store this stuff, but if you can't find it, what's the point? Like, why are you paying for it? Back when I used to work in archives for video cassette tape, I used to tell people, look, you can keep all these video cassette tapes rotting in your facility, right? And paying for that, right? And it's not cheap. But if you have no plan to digitize it and use it, why are you doing that? Just throw them away.
Yeah.
So I would say, when you kind of think about the value of being able to find and locate stuff and use and monetize things, it's really about time. Because in theory, I could sit down and watch well, maybe not, but in theory, I could hire a bank of hundreds of humans to sit down and watch every single second of every video in my archive. And I guess have an institutional knowledge in their head. And then later I could ask them, hey, do we have a clip of, Fenway Park that we can use for this, marketing segment we're putting together? And maybe some of them will remember that they saw that, and maybe they won't. So, that's a huge waste of time, not to mention, you could be just not having access to your data. I mean, I don't know what other nouns or descriptions you can use for the kind of lack of value in storing something but not having access to it.
Yeah.
The only word I can think of in my head is stupid. Like, why would you do that?
Yeah, or it's a waste. And I mean, the old saying, time is money. So that's essentially what it means. You're accelerating time to value. You're adding the ability to generate insights from data through an easily usable tool, all with the power of AI. To me, that's something that has a tangible business benefit, which is awesome. And then couple in the infrastructure underneath, you don't have to worry about any of that either. The storage, that's kind of a tie everything up with a bow type of platform for AI.
I think there's a kind of a persona that we're missing out on here that this is a huge win for, and that is digital hoarders. So people who just are like, I got to save this, and you go into their house and it's just newspapers and there's a lot of cats and like dirty dishes and things like that. Now take that paradigm and shift it over to a digital landscape. For those people now, they can unlock their digital hoards with this kind of a tool. So I think that's really exciting for them.
I think that should be your metaphor. Dave Friend's metaphor is the library and the card catalog. Sean's metaphor is digital hoarder.
Yeah, potentially like with some mental health issues that should probably be addressed at some point. But like that, maybe Wasabi AiR could unlock some of that pathology for them. Just a thought.
I mean, doesn't it make it worse? Like, doesn't it? If you could actually use the stuff you're hoarding and find it,
in a way, you're enabling some sort of weird behavior. But look, if they're going to buy it, they're going to buy it. And that's what we're here for. We want them. We want their dollars, and we don't care if they're hoarders or not. So let's see, where were we on the old questions here, Andrew? Did you?
I want to talk about one more thing before we switch to your genius brand ideas. Aaron, you wrote a blog on our Wasabi Bucket, that's our blog platform, about responsible use of AI. I just kind of wanted to touch on that. Not only like responsible use certainly is
this targeted at me?
How to be more responsible at work. Responsible use of AI tools and technologies, but also kind of, I would love to get your perspective on how the market's evolving, in addition to how we think about responsible use of the tools, but also like how fast we're moving in terms of automating certain tasks or changing what we think about the value of traditional tasks like manually tagging film, right? How is this technology changing the way we think about industries, but how do we need to be thinking about the responsible use and implementation of that technology at the same time? I think you wrote a great article on it, but I'd like to get your, kind of use this opportunity to get your opinion on it a little bit deeper.
I would say, look, we've been here before. Throughout history, we have been at this moment. We've been here before. The Teamsters Union, the word Teamster, it refers to people who drive horses. Like, that's not what they do anymore. There is a great segment, and I've posted about it. Yeah. When nonlinear editing was invented. So for those of you who don't know, editing used to be, you like take the film and you literally with scissors cut pieces out and glue them together into the movie, right? So somebody manually had to do that. That was a very, very manual process. And you still hear terms from that, like the cutting room floor and all that stuff. When nonlinear editing came out and was invented, there was a lot of people who thought, well, my job's gone. You don't need me anymore. There is a great piece, I think it was a Today Show from 1990, and I posted it on LinkedIn, but I would share it again, of an interview with the guys who founded this little company called, what was it called? Adobe, something like that. And they had this like product no one had ever heard of called Photoshop. And there was a kind of academic character on there and not a character, he was a real academic, but he was saying the same things. Like if you took it out of context and put it in today, it sounds exactly the same. He was saying things like, look, photos are supposed to be, snapshots of realistic, of real life, of history. Like you can't edit photos. What is that going to do to society? What is that going to do to, photographers and their jobs and all this stuff like that? And I think it all turned out okay. I don't want to be insensitive to people who are facing being laid off because of a new technology. I just don't know that there's.
Why? What have you heard?
Yes,
take it offline. This is a weird way for you to deliver that news, but look, I'll take it with a brave face.
Sean's a quick learner, though. You can evolve.
I can evolve.
It's spicy. A spicy way to do it would be appropriate. I just think that yes, this technology. Honestly, if you read my article, the kind of point I'm trying to make is that all I think about is how to make that job that I did as a intern easier. There's no point in me spending hours and hours doing something like that when if it could be done automatically, I could focus on other things and do things that are sort of more useful and more productive. We really just want to make the people who are trying to edit content and put together packages and do marketing and all that and organize their digital hoarding. We just want to make their lives easier. And this is what I mean. It will enable the digital hoarders, right? Because now suddenly you actually can get value from storing all this content.
There's a story that my friend told me recently about, it's a similar story where when photography came out, way back, painters were like, well, this is great. What the hell am I going to do now? And that makes sense. Like if you're a guy that's just like doing portraits on the side of the street, you're like, this is great. My job is over. But what it did was it inspired the Impressionist movement. So people kind of looked into other ways to express themselves. And now you go to the museum and it's all Picasso and Rembrandt and some of my work as well. And that's a great thing for society.
And they have bathrooms in the museum too.
Yeah, bathrooms there. Actually, that's great. We got to add that in.
Also, bathrooms in the museum.
Yeah.
Yep.
You might have to pay to get into the museum to use the bathroom, but once you're in,
you're in.
you can stay there all day.
All right, we got like a couple minutes left with Aaron.
Okay.
One last question that I think we had on the script. Aaron, what should we be thinking about future of Wasabi AiR, right? We kind of went over what it does today, how it helps, but what do you think about the future of the platform in general? What should people be looking forward to?
I think people could be looking forward to better and more relevant search. If you think about today, did everybody feel as frustrated as I do with Google search? Like,
Yes.
I mean, it doesn't even, I don't think I even use it anymore, honestly, because it just doesn't work. It doesn't return useful things. And honestly, I get better results when I'm asking ChatGPT now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Sean's
I think-
Sean's smartwatch keeps yelling at us. Like,
Has it been?
Yeah.
Has it been going off?
No, I don't
Uh-oh.
think so. But it's just, that's how bad his search results are. I don't know what your watch thinks you want to know, but sorry.
It's a great example of where I think we're going with AiR, right? Like,
Yeah.
we don't want it to be Google. We want it to be something that you can continue to use and gets better and learns from you and understands your content and video better and better and better, to the point where you really like, no, there's nothing that can hide in your archive. You can't. There's nothing you won't be able to find. That's kind of my long-term vision for AiR.
My
Awesome.
watch keeps saying searching for new co-host. I don't know what that's about. So are you done with your more formal questions?
Those were the formal questions. Yeah.
So I wanted to, Andrew and I talked about this before the show, and we have some ideas about. We think that you're thinking too small.
Yeah, way too small on the future of Wasabi AiR.
When it comes to this Wasabi AiR idea.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're familiar with the idea of like a franchise or like a Virgin type of, blow it up. We got this, we got that, all these kind of things. There's a huge opportunity here that's being overlooked, and we want to pitch something to you that's sort of like a prestige worldwide type of situation.
Yep.
So here's the first idea that we had.
I would wear those.
Yeah, they look pretty good. They got the little pump. They got the pump on them with the Hanko pump.
You pump the air up.
Yeah.
And then you're ready to do whatever you do.
Yeah.
That's one idea. Are you interested at all in the sports market for Wasabi AiR?
I'm very interested in the sports market for Wasabi AiR.
All right, we're going to take that as a yes.
We'll bullet these out, and then
Okay.
we'll meet afterwards to discuss more specifically. We also have this.
Oh man, that's just going to make me hungry. I mean, I already have that problem, but just sat around the house.
Air freshener. That's delicious too.
Yeah.
How did you get like the wasabi's like peeking out from behind the?
That's that's part of my genius.
Well done, yeah.
All right. We're in the tech space, and so I think we're a little bit in an ivory tower sometimes. You're on the West Coast, a little bit of la-di-da. But we want you to think about getting more sort of blue collar with it.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're wondering if you would consider more of like a home to home approach.
Definitely my favorite.
And can the people call you directly with their requests?
Yeah.
Yes, that phone number definitely would reach me. Also, what happened to my hair?
That may be Adobe's automatic remove background. Speaking of AI that doesn't work.
Yeah,
Just
seriously.
kidding, Adobe. Everything's great. So that's another idea. There's a huge opportunity in the scuba market.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
For we could really take over there.
Yeah, let's just sell air, like actual air. Yes.
Yeah, I mean that is. Look, we have bottled water. It's time
Bottled
for
air.
bottled air.
Yeah. It smells a little bit like wasabi. I think that's right. I got a business idea.
Scented. Yes.
Alternatively,
Yes.
this is where the Virgin comparison goes. Like
That one's a slam. This is a slam dunk.
and once you have Wasabi AiR airplanes, you go immediately to space shuttles,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
And
Yep.
then finally, the piece de
there's no air.
resistance, and this is really where we're going in the future.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, that's
you're
just
careful,
selling
maybe.
air. Again,
Exactly.
we're just selling air, a bubble of air that
Mhm.
that
Yeah.
you know.
And hot air, like marketing,
Yeah.
Well, Well, Aaron, let's take this offline. I don't want you to feel like we're pressuring you to have an answer for any of these right now in front of everyone. But I want you to let's get those gears turning. Let's think about, boom, let's go big.
Yep.
Yeah. I'll have my AI assistant reach out to your AI.
Yeah, please do.
I only get everybody's AI assistants these days. That's so strange. Well, Aaron, thank you so much for being a good sport and
My pleasure.
Coming on. We really appreciate your time. Wasabi AiR, in all seriousness, is an incredible game changer for
It is.
For what it does.
It's a big part of the story for Wasabi for 2024. It's a big part of Wasabi's Spicy Bites number 8. So thanks very much, Aaron, for taking the time with us today.
Yeah, my
Watch
pleasure.
out for your Spicy Bites bump. You're going to have all kinds of incoming.
Yeah, you don't look at your Twitter or your LinkedIn for turn your phone off for the next couple of days. Just let it settle down.
Think about going to the shore for the weekend.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Which shore? The Jersey Shore? Because that's
if you want to fly east and do that, that's nice.
That'd be like a weird thing to do. But yes, okay.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time, and I'm sure we will see you soon.
Yeah,
in our pitch meeting.
In the pitch meeting. Yeah,
All right.
We need some investment money.
All right. Bye, Aaron. Thanks so much.
Bye.